name is Kiko, and I am super excited. I have been wanting to have Doreet on my show for some time, and she is a super celebrity, raw vegan chef, coach, and she has been coaching and she's got she has been on this raw vegan journey for a long period of time, and we finally made it. I am so excited to have her. Welcome, Doreet, to the show. We matched the color for some reason.
Universal flow.
Yes, I said, Doreet, it has to be this color, very bright, like a sunlight. So, welcome. Thank you so much. You are such an elegant and graceful woman. You know, I really appreciate your patience because there was a bit of glitch. I should have sent us some information and I haven't. But Dorit is always, tranquil, always wonderful, pleasant, and thank you so much. I appreciate your elegance.
Oh, it's so interesting because that's the word that I used for you when I interviewed you a few months ago too. I thought that's one of the most elegant people I've ever come across.
Oh, that means so much to me coming from you. So, without any further ado, I there's so much in you. So, please, could you please introduce yourself, who you are, why you started this journey?
So I'm going to start back at the beginning when I was a child, because that's where really all, that's where I am back right now. It started there and I'm back there now. So when I was a child, I would only eat fruits. I hated everything else. We had a garden and I picked a lot of things from the garden, but that didn't mean, and I loved picking them and I loved tending the garden. But interestingly, the garden for the produce was at the back, the garden for the flowers at the front. My job as a child, and I love it that we all had a little task, was to water the garden at the front, which is where the flowers were, which is probably was a good idea because I would have eaten everything at the back had I been in charge. And I wonder if they did that on purpose. So the garden in the back was huge, and there were a lot of savory fruits there. We also had some other fruits like tamarind trees and whatnot. But
Where?
so it depends when. It's my childhood was lived in different places.
Oh, okay.
So the backyard we had savory fruits, which were my favorites, were tomatoes and cucumbers. And I used to come home from school on very hot days, and either we had in the fridge in water the cucumber and salt, fresh water and salt in the fridge waiting for us. I would just pick them out and just eat them when I came home. Or I would go to the garden and pick the tomatoes and eat it straight from the vine. I love that. I thought everybody did that. As children, we think whatever we do, everyone does. So to my horror, I found out otherwise. So it's very interesting because I'm in the United States now, and people constantly tell me how when they came home, they got candy. Well, I think I got candy because I was eating fruit straight from the earth. And I still don't understand how you can make false candy when you have the real thing. So anyway, I that was my eating habits. And of course, I was told by adults, you can't just eat only that. You've got to eat the other things that, in other words, the stuff that we're making. The time of day I dreaded, and I really dreaded it, was supper time, because I had to sit at the table with all of these adults and watch them put things in the mouth that shocked me. And all the things were brown and beige, no colors to them.
Oh, wow.
No colors, nothing colorful. And I wonder why. And then I learned that when I was also a child, we went to a farm. I don't remember where this was, but it was we were there. I don't remember why. I don't have a lot of memories. There are certain things in my childhood that stick out. What I'm telling you today are the things that stick out. And I woke up at about 4 in the morning, something like that. We were woken up, I should say, by the most horrible sound. And I was teeny tiny, but I tipped up to the window and I was looking up the window to see what was going on. And it was these cows. Now, until then, I'd only see cows as very placid and calm and gentle, and they were running like crazy. And the noise, that horrendous noise, which I still hear today, was coming from them. And they were running like crazy. And there were men with lassos trying to get them. I woke up the entire household. I didn't even know some of these people because we were visiting somebody. And was really upset. And I said, we got to go help the cows. What did they do? What I thought they'd done something awful. What did they do? And I was told, oh, they didn't do anything. Go back to sleep. And I said, no, no, they're trying to catch them. What's going on? That don't you hear the sound? I knew the cows were in trouble from the horrible, horrible sound. And so I didn't understand why they told me to go back to sleep. But later on, as I was walking with one of the adults, I don't even remember who that was. We were passing this shop store, and the windows and the door was open, and from the ceiling with a huge hook was hanging this huge thigh, and blood was dripping from it. And I thought, what is that? And just said, the cows that you woke up about this morning, that's them. And I said, that's not possible. The cow isn't there. I didn't see the cow. I just saw this huge thigh, this thing. And she said, no, that's our meat. And I said, meat? And I said, how's that? She said, that thing that you like on your plate, that's brown, that you hate so much, that's it.
Oh, wow.
So I was a very instinctive child. And I said, this is not possible. I mean, I was traumatized. I literally was traumatized by that sound of the cow and watching them. And of course, I didn't go back to bed because they were still making the sound. I watched the whole scenario. And that's when I learned that I shouldn't try to force feed myself with something I didn't want. So now I learned, though, to be devious as a child. I learned that I could be devious. So what I would do is I'd chop the little things up in teeny little pieces and throw them under the table for the cat to come and get them. Unfortunately, cats only eat raw. And cats do not like anything cooked, so they wouldn't eat them. So I didn't know it was accumulating under the tablecloth all the time
Wow.
until the cleaning lady discovered it, and I was in serious trouble. So this went on for a while with me fighting the adults and them telling me that, no, you have to do this, and me refusing to do this. But I would eat dairy, but I hated dairy with a passion, by the way. But I would eat ice cream. And then later on, when I was a teenager, I would eat this thing called leben or shemenet. And but before I go back, let me go back to my childhood. Before I was a teenager, all of this came to a halt when one day I was told that in order for me to continue going to school, they had to give me this injection, and they came out with this huge needle. And I said, absolutely no way. I mean, this was my little body, and they're going to put this into it? No. So I put up a huge fight. And I remember adults holding me down forcefully on a bed to inject me and inoculate me. They said without this, I couldn't go to school, and I had to have it. I, from that moment, did not trust adults anymore because I knew that that was not what I needed and wanted in my body, and they forced it. They literally held me down and forced it on me. So thus ended my carefree days as a child because I didn't trust adults anymore. In fact, I learned to despise them. Now, fast forward to my teenage years, and I was a dancer, and I was dancing on TV, and apparently I was well known. I don't remember this. This is what my family tells me. But what I do remember is being violently sick and bleeding a lot, bleeding to death. And we went to the local doctor, and he said, now, fortunately for me, in those days, the doctors in Israel were very, very updated with nutrition and whatnot. And he said, I'm going to put you on a rotation diet. I think it might be the dairy. But remember, I only ate ice cream and leben and shemenet. Leben and shemenet is something similar to yogurt. And I said, I said, easy. That was easy for me to give up anyway. And he said, I'm going to put you on for 2 weeks, take you off for three, or maybe it was the opposite, 3 weeks. I don't remember the ratio, two on, three off. And see what happens. Well, as soon as he took me off of that, no more bleeding, nor that excruciating pain that I would get every month. And then he put me on again, and immediately I started bleeding even more fiercely. And he said, you know what, we can't afford to do all 3 rotations. I already know what it is. It is the dairy. You can never eat dairy for the rest of your life again. Well, that was no big deal for me until I went to France to study. And almost everything French is vegetarian, not vegan. And the French didn't seem to know how to cook without creme fraiche or butter. You know that because you lived in France and you're married to a Frenchman.
Yes. Well, the time I was there, in Paris, there are a lot of vegan options, but outside of Paris, it was tough. Yes.
Yeah, I went to University of Dijon in Bourgogne, and
Oh,
yes, and we used to have this gorgeous farmers market by where the Duke you had his castle and what. It was incredible. So I would go there and eat from the fruit there. But when I lived in Paris, after that I moved to Paris. There was a in the Quartier Latin. Of course, I found it. It's quite interesting, Kiko, that we pull things to us. We are energy beings. And the universe it's like it casts a magic spell on us so that if we're in tune with our own vibrational energies and the prevalent vibrational energies of anywhere in that space, we will be drawn to it, we'll know it. So somehow I used to walk Paris, all of Paris. I wouldn't take the metro, I wouldn't take the buses because I loved walking Paris. And I used to hate Paris until when I was at the University of Dijon, this fellow from Poland said to me, this is because you've never walked Paris. So he said to me, come with me for a weekend. I'm going to take you to Paris for a weekend. We're going to walk. And while we were there, he said, do not talk to me at all. The whole weekend I didn't talk, which was easy for me because I was a very silent. I loved silence. And at the end of the weekend, we went to the Rive Gauche and we went to the bridge. And we were over the Seine, and he said, now, do you still hate Paris? I said, I'm in love. I'm in love with Paris. So after the University of Dijon, I went to Paris. And there, that is when I manifested this place. I found at the Quartier Latin, through one of my many walks in Paris, I don't even know why I was there. Okay, it's just the power of attraction. I found this place in Paris that had these crudité sandwich with baguettes that came out fresh from the oven. They were always warm, and you saw them pull it out of the oven with the most incredible olive oil that was freshly taken out of the fields. And crudité. So it was all these cucumbers and tomatoes and grated carrots and all these other things on there. Nothing. The only thing that was cooked was the baguette. It was incredible. To today, I remembered if I ever eat bread again, it has to be that sandwich.
wow.
And so that's when I realized that food is not just for maintenance or sustenance, and it's definitely not for entertainment, but that food, or what we call food, is reminiscent of our own energies. In other words, we tend to attract to us exactly the same energy where we are at the moment and the prevailing energy of where that we are. So that's when I realized that food actually tells the story of our own lives, our own morals, and our own ethics.
That's so deep. Okay. We need to think on this many layers of what you're saying, but yes, please go on.
So I was also, I'm just finished. I'm finishing up. I finished writing a book, but where I'm dealing with the editing of it now, and I speak about those days in Paris and watching people around food in Paris, and how food was such a revered part of their lives. From there, I went to New York, where I was the Israeli tour guide at the UN, and I saw a whole different relationship with food that I'd never seen before. It was one that was permeated on the language of violence. So I heard people saying, I'm going to go grab lunch. But if you look up the meaning of grab, it means very, almost violently, you know? Um, um, the language of chefs when they do food shows, shocking. In the book, I go into detail in that. And it's very interesting because this was the first time I ever saw in anywhere of the world that I had been before that anyone that was obese. And I immediately understood because I had learned when I lived in Paris about the fact that the food that we eat is representation of ourselves and where we are in our own mind or thoughts or belief systems, and also the memories that we carry in ourselves gets portrayed in the food choices that we make. I realized that these people were not overweight like other people were accusing them of being. They had excess waste in their bodies. The weight was all of the stuff they'd not healed, and it came out through the food because our food, our choices for food betrays us. We can say, I am this, I am that, and no, I don't, I believe in this and believe in that, but our choices in food shows the difference. For example, alcohol. That cannot possibly be a food source. But there are most people in my life right now, and my friends who, right here in California, who live by having a glass of wine or two or three every night. And they say to me, you know, you couldn't like food, but I enjoy eating too much and I enjoy my wine too much to give that up. And they will do this despite all the health signs. So in New York, I started eating a macrobiotic diet. I no longer had the crudité and I didn't have all the fruits that I'd gotten from the Market des Gens. I started eating at a macrobiotic restaurant because I just loved everything Japanese. And I was studying with George Osaka, and I was studying all the, all of the macrobiotic stuff. And then I ended up being the editor for a macrobiotic newsletter. And I just got sicker. I went back to being sick again. And the hemorrhaging and the painful, monthly experiences. And this was supposed to be healthy food. And I only went to plant-based places. And most plant-based places, I looked at the menu and I realized I can't eat that. This is not food. This is pretend food. So unfortunately, I did not learn my lesson. But one day I started to realize one day that every time I was walking through New York City, especially in the mornings, I was craving dirt. Really, I wanted to eat dirt. Now, this is New York City. You've lived there. So, all that concrete. And I was actually the gym floor manager of the New York Health and Racket Club on 56th on 6th Street. And right underneath, right at that corner was an Italian restaurant, and they had a juice bar. And lo and behold, I was so glad because that brought me back to my childhood when we did juices every day and whatnot. And they never cleaned the fruit and vegetables. It was dirty, and you could feel the grain of the dirt underneath it. So I started drinking it because I was craving dirt.
Oh, wow.
Little did I know that I was, of course, anemic. That's why I was craving dirt.
Oh, how intuitive you are. It's incredible.
We're all very intuitive and instinctive, but it's been swallowed up. Our intuition or real selves has been swallowed up because there's so many shiny advertisements and really extremely slick songs and advertisements to seduce us. I mean, have you ever seen the most gorgeous bottles on vodka that vodka is served in, and the glasses that vodka is served in? Which is why when I serve juice to my friends, I now get bottles that look like vodka bottles, and I only use champagne and wine glasses to serve my
Yes.
juices. So I realized that I was sick. I was still sick. It was really a problem. But when I started doing the juicing, I was getting much better. Still didn't make the connection. When I came to Los Angeles, there was a restaurant, a small place here called Beverly Hills Juice Club. So of course, by then I was just anywhere there was juices, I would go because that's when I would feel more myself, and my vibrational energy would feel like it aligned with what I used to be. And I was one day I was there, and the proprietor Jennifer came out and said to me, "So how long have you been raw?" And I said, "What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about." And she said, "Well, everything you eat or get here, it's raw. How long have you been doing this?" And I said, "This was my childhood. I just ate this stuff." She says, "But you're raw." And I said, "No, I'm not." And she said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." And then she got me this booklet by Victoria Kapinaskus. And she said, told me about this raw cheese using sunflower seeds and all these recipes in there. And she said, "Yes, you need to eat the stuff." And I realized, oh, she means living foods, foods that are alive. Because I don't believe in the word raw. Because to me, food is raw. It comes to us already cooked by the sun and the moon and the stars. And there are all these insects in the ground working on our behalf to cook our food for us. And so when we get it, it's still alive. So we need live foods, yes, for a live body. But to call it raw allows us to cook it, to overcook it by then heating it up. But in my own sphere of where I live, those are just living foods. The food is just alive.
Mhm.
And yes, it can be dehydrated, but when you dehydrate, you take away the most important part of it, which is what we need the most, which is the water.
Oh, so you don't do any dehydrated.
I dehydrate for clients, but not for me. Now, last year I started dehydrating bananas and plantains, and I love them in the winter. But interestingly, they're not dry.
It becomes even more moist.
Yes, very interesting. So that I will dehydrate in the winter now, but for my clients I do dehydrate, but not for me. So I am
What
really.
was the name of the book again? By Victoria.
You can ask us. It was a booklet, so
Okay.
she made a photocopy of it for me. So I don't have the name of
Okay.
it. But you know what I can do is I can put it in the link below, or I can send it to you
Yes,
if I
please.
can find it. If I can find it, it's somewhere
Okay.
here.
If you find it, yes. Thank you.
Yes. And afterwards I ended up meeting him, and he came to my events. I did a lot of events. I started the first raw lifestyle fruit festival here, not knowing that by starting it I just put the word out, and all these people I got from Armenia and Albania, and of course a lot from New Zealand and Australia and the UK, especially Canada, a lot of films about this lifestyle and this path. I didn't know. And they all said, we did these films and nobody seemed interested in them. They've been sitting here. Well, I brought it, and it was a huge success, the Raw Lifestyle Film Festival. But I couldn't maintain. It was a lot of work too. It was just too much work. And I ended it though, because it's putting on events here in Los Angeles. It's like a nightmare with the bureaucracy here in the Los Angeles. So I just was not willing to go through all those hoops, to put on an event anymore. So I got back. Hello to 21st Century Homestead. I got back to my childhood because I was still sick, even doing all that stuff, and I started doing wheatgrass juice and all that stuff. Didn't work for me. I was even invited by Brian Clement to a big conference with Living Foods leaders at the Hippocrates Institute to come up with guidelines for the community, for the Living Foods community, which I really, 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 I like Brian so much. I thought it was one of the best things that could have happened, because there was so much divergent cultures within the community. People say that you cannot eat root vegetables, you cannot eat this, you cannot drink that, blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, I just thought people should eat whatever worked for them and not go by constraints or what people are telling them. And so we got sick in the first place.
Yeah. That's a powerful message. We have to find what works for us, individually.
Kiko, I find that there are people who can absolutely eat cooked foods and thrive. I am not one of them. So I got sick again here in LA, doing all of this stuff, wheatgrass juice and all the different, you know, living foods menus and blah, la, 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 la. And we had wonderful restaurants here. With Juliana had his restaurant. We had all these living food restaurants. They call them raw food restaurants. And I was just getting sick with them. This was all gourmet stuff and whatnot. And I almost died. I was rushed to the hospital. I bled out most of my blood, had to be given blood transfusion. And I said, this is it for me. Oh, and then to recover, I needed one of my former my clients gave me actually opened an account for me at a restaurant very close to me into the hospital, and I used to order juices from there, organic juices. And so with the organic juices, I left the hospital way ahead of time. I recovered so fast, so quickly, that the doctors didn't believe. The doctor who performed the surgery said, I cannot believe you're already recovered. What are you doing here? You're way ahead of time. And she ended up becoming a client of mine. That's how impressed she was.
Oh my God.
I healed myself by going back to my childhood and eating fruits and only raw veg and only juices, and by eating seasonally, which authentically, and also for me, that is how I intuitively eat, is with the seasons.
You okay. Yeah, you have an amazing story, and you're such a great storyteller. But I'll keep you. I'll let you keep on going. I'm making a note on my side.
So I went back to eating just fruits, just like I did as a child. I really went back just eating fruits. And I listen to my body if it has cravings. Like lately, it's been craving coconut water and coconut, especially Mexican coconut. I don't know why. Last week, I was going all around the place looking for Mexican coconut. Finally, found one that was so old, it was almost dried up. I bought this expensive thing for no reason. Craving kit mangoes, which all should be in season now. And I listened to my body. I let my body tell me what it wants. So what I did was I went through, I gave myself a wonderful detox as I was doing this. And there was a book called The Grape Cure by Joanna Brandt that I read many years ago. So I decided just to do a grape cleanse. I did that. And I love juices. There are many people in the living foods movement who said, oh, I can't eat juices. There's no fiber in it. Well, for you, that might be true, but not for me. I have a lot of fiber in my fruits. So in winter, I will juice some greens. You won't see me with greens in the summer ever. I mean, I know that there's some lettuce that's seasonal in the summer, and it used to attract me, but not anymore. And so I really indulge in just fruits. But in the winter, if I feel a need for greens, I'll juice them, and a lot of it if I feel a need for it. And sometimes I'll add herbs, but I feel if I'm really healthy, I won't need the herbs, because fruits cleanse the body and cleanse the emotions and cleanse cravings and help to cleanse out the parasites, whereas greens strengthen us and herbs help us to heal. So I've gone the route of the herbs to heal before, as I was going back to being eating just fruits again. I did do a lot of herbs, especially with Dr. Robert Morse's. I used his herbs, and I'm now free. I purposely did not get married because I didn't want anybody telling me what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat it. That's a huge issue. That's an issue of power struggle. I didn't want anybody telling me that I'm cuckoo, because I already know that I am, and I love it. I
In
enjoy
what
it.
way?
I enjoy it. In whatever way it is, I do like it and I enjoy it. And I'm just can be myself the way I was as a child before I was held down and forcefully inoculated, and ended up in a hospital where I didn't eat for days because I refused to eat the rubber that they were serving in the hospital, the rubber. And I was terrified being there. And it was very traumatic for me seeing my father walk away and leave me. In fact, I understand that I was screaming, and they were trying to get me to eat, and I refused to eat until about the third or fourth day. I don't remember. This is what the adults tell me. One of the doctors says, we just have to eat something. And I said, I want it. And then somebody in my family said she loved juices, but of course the hospital doesn't have fresh juices. So they brought me vegetable broth. And that was the first time I drank anything. after a few days. And so they learned that I would eat vegetable broth, and that's how I started eating cooked foods when I was a child.
Wow, that's incredible. When you were kids, these are the time that we wanted to eat everything. Wow.
Now, if I lived in Japan, I would have had a problem because everything Japanese I love, and the way they serve food is the most, it's a work of art to me. It's the most attractive
Yeah.
work of art. So 21st Homestead said, oh, your son is on Dr. Morris's protocols. Excellent idea. Excellent. I totally agree with that. So it's interesting because right now, oh, I should have brought it over. Yeah, I eat seasonally, and my life is full of so much excitement because I eat seasonally. And right now, fresh dates are available
I saw it. Oh my God, you're so lucky to get that. How does
because I
it
know
taste
the
like?
farmer, because I know a date farm. That's the thing. Wherever I travel, wherever I live, I make friends first with farmers. Most people go to a bar to meet friends and to events. I go to the nearest farm to meet the farmers. I got to be connected to the soil, and I need to know those farmers. And so I know when everything's in season because they all contact me and say, I have this in season now, I've got that. And I never eat fruits at the beginning of the season. Like now, we have stone fruit here, but I will not eat them now because I eat them towards the end of the season when they're really, really ripe and juicy. And they've been in the ground, they've been turning over for a while. And I love winter fruits. I love my fruits in the winter are very different from my fruits in the summer, of course. And I love that I live close to Mexico. I love that, very near to Mexico. So I can get cherry moyas.
My favorite fruits. Oh,
And I wish we could get the organic papayas from Mexico because it's so different in Mexico than it is here in the United States. And when in Mexico, gosh, I had all those papayas and pineapples and all the coconuts. And I went to India. Oh my gosh. The mangoes in India and the coconuts and the pineapples and the papaya, which I had for breakfast every morning. And in Japan, you've got a mango. I'm trying to remember the name of it. That is, two of them are 4,000 US dollars. And it's only available in one season. It starts with M. It's like Mizamo or Misemo or
Miyazaki mango.
yes.
I think I was the one who mentioned to you. Maybe I don't know. It is. I have gone to Mexico. I have eaten Indian mango and Nepal and all many places. And my husband and I both agree that Miyazaki mango from southern part of Japan, close to Okinawa, the best mango. It's actually the variation is apple mango. So
Yes.
I get apple mango from Mexico, which is pretty good. But the way they cultivate is just, they call it mango of sun. They really, really take care of it like as if their baby. And they only take it when they drop it.
Yes. And they make, and some of it's grown in glass houses, and they make sure there's enough sunlight. Very important, the sunlight, that they get
Yeah.
exactly the proper amount of sunlight. But you see, that's so Japanese to be so minuscule and to detailed oriented. And I
Mhm.
would not likely, I don't want to leave the earth until I have 4,000 US dollars to go to
Oh
Japan and
yeah,
get those mangoes.
you haven't eaten it. Okay, it's not that expensive. It's probably when it's exported, they change it. And my husband and I like indulging it time to time. It's just the perfume is so different, like aroma. Like the peel, I ask my husband not to throw them away because it just smells so good. I just want to let it, perfume our home with that even after eating. It's just insane.
I think you're so fortunate to, of course, everything in Japan, I think you're so fortunate to have. And it's, all around the world, the most exciting thing about going to Thailand is
Durian.
And then if you don't like the durian, and you don't, if you get it straight from the tree, you don't have the smell with it, the stench, that horrendous stench that goes with it, and all the fruits. You see them coming on boats, laden. It's the most gorgeous, beautiful sight. Now, how can you have that and then go and kill a pig and eat it, and it's brown, and you have to put all these stimulants in it so you can eat it, when you've got this most beautiful boats filled with the most stunning jewels of the earth to eat. And then you go to Borneo and you have the red durian.
I have not eaten that. But I keep hearing that the best durian is in Malaysia because
I
they,
have
yeah. Have you tried eaten that?
no, I have a friend in Malaysia and he's brought me back the dehydrated version, but because you cannot bring them back on the plane to the United
Right.
States. So he brought me back the dehydrated version, but of course it's nothing. I know it's nothing compared to, even if when I rehydrate it, it's like, nah, I'm sure this is not it.
Sure. Oh my God, Dory, I could just listen to you all day long. You know, I, I don't know, because we've got only 20 more minutes to also to go, but I'm just in a dream. I'm in paradise, just listening to you, and you are just a delight to this world. And thank you so much for sharing. I'm, I don't know. Any no words is coming back, but it's just such a delight to just keep on listening to you, and thank you so much for just being you, and showing up. You are just you're very active now.
Mhm.
You're right, finishing up on writing your book, but online you're very much active. You have interviews, and you're well known in the community. You also coach celebrities, like you have also coached Serena Williams, right? And
I worked with her for 2 years prior to the London Olympics because she wanted to win the gold. And so she used to go living foods, all plant based living foods prior to competitions. But she
wow,
always said to me, make sure people know that I'm not vegan. She said, I do this, in order to win the competition because it gets her at her highest vibrational levels. And she did win the gold at the London Olympics after working with her for 2 years.
do you mind sharing why she didn't want people to know that she's vegan?
No, she said she wants people to know
Oh,
she's
you
not vegan.
want?
Yeah,
Okay.
she wanted the truth. She wanted to be very, very, oh, what's that word? Y- y- she wanted people to know the truth about herself,
That's
because people, a lot of people go, oh, and she's raw vegan, da, 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 da. And it's like she wanted people to know that transparency. That's the word I'm looking for. She wanted transparency. She said, make sure people know that I do this when I'm in training, but
that's
I'm
fa-
not. She said, in case they see me at Cheesecake Factory, where they want her. She's a great sense of humor.
that's fantastic. That's amazing. You're Yeah, I appreciate, I can imagine that you had to work and meet that high standard, working with the high standard people, right?
No, I think one has to just be themselves.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what I said before about the energy, the vibration, energy attracting each other. I didn't seek her out, and she didn't seek me out. It was her assistant who brought me to her attention. She was looking for somebody. And it's just interesting. It's all about when we're ready, the universe is absolutely magical. We live in a very magical kingdom. Our bodies are the most sacred resource for us. If we really knew and we realized what a resource we had within this heaven, the body is all universal flow. So we can have the flow on a very low level, medium level, a little further higher up, or at our most expansive level. But it's there for us whenever we want. This is why it's important what we think, what we hear, what we look at, what we speak, with whom we associate, because that will either strengthen us and uplift us to our highest vibrational level, or it can be deplete us and pull us down to our lowest vibrational level. Everyone with whom we come in touch. So, I have a podcast now. So the new book is Being Healthy, and it has a companion Being Healthy podcast, and I'm putting together a companion course for it as well. And it's all based on language, because our language defines which vibrational level which we're operating. Because I can sit here right now, Kiko, with you, and I can use language that's very demeaning, demoralizing, and also that's violent. Or I can use language that is comforting, soothing, and healing. Or I can use level of a very high vibration that would uplift and inspire and absolutely pull me up to the highest levels of my own body. And so that is why language is important. That's what I'm doing in the book, in the with the companion podcast, also called Being Healthy, and the course called Being Healthy, is to get people to really look at their language around food. Really, really important. So that's the most important thing. I don't think it's important if you're plant-based, if you're living foods, if you only eat fruits. What's important is your language around yourself, for yourself, and around food. Or language around food will attract the same energy as the language we use will attract things that are called food of that same energy. So there are a lot of people who say, I'm going raw. Or I went raw and I never felt so great in my life, but I wasn't able to maintain it. Or they say I went plant-based and I wasn't able to maintain it. That's because you are operating on the same lowest energy possible that attracts things of a very low energy. If you want to feel uplifted in your life, you've got to uplift yourself. Food will not do that for you. There is no food on earth that can sustain that for you. It can assist you in getting there, but it will not keep us there. And that's why so many people say, it did not work for me. It's not that the food did not work for us. You did not work for yourself. You are responsible for the way you feel. Don't say, I used to feel very high. Every morning I would wake up, I would juice, and I would do that. And it just doesn't work for me anymore. Somewhere in your life, you're not working for you. Look at your language. I'm sure your language, every time you're drinking it, you're pulling it down. You're probably drinking that juice or eating that durian, standing up and mindlessly. One of my intentions for my life is to have a mindfulness retreat in Japan, teaching people how to eat the ancient Japanese way, mindfully, at an ozen.
Oh,
And because that's what I teach. I used to teach this in Toronto, in Canada. That was a very popular workshop called The Sacred Art of Eating. And that's what I teach with my clients now, in my courses and private, especially with private clients. I teach people how to eat mindfully. That's all that's important. It's not important what you're eating, because you're pulling down the energies of the food you're eating when you eat mindlessly. I see people doing this as they're driving, or as they're sitting talking to you. They'll be eating, throwing a grape into their mouth and this and that. But that's all they're doing. They're throwing a grape into the mouth, and that grape is meant to uplift them and heal them and whatnot, but they're not meant to be present in the moment to uplift and heal themselves. No, if we're not healing, it's because we are not present for ourselves. Food cannot do for us what we will not do for ourselves. There's no food that will do that.
can we all have Doreet, one Doreet in our home? I want Doreet in my home or next to me all the time. Is it possible?
Well, that's why the book and the podcast and the course. But if you would continue speaking, I would love to bring over the dates. I want people to see what a fresh date looks like, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Of course, that would be wonderful. Oh my God, this interview has been completely different from what I have been anticipating. I just, instead of asking her questions, I just want to keep on listening to her. I don't know if you guys are the same, but You are such a delight. That's all. Oh, yeah. That was grown in California. Oh,
Yes.
I love that.
It fell off the branch. Actually, I have the branch. I should have brought over the branch. It fell off the branch because it's ready to eat. So I eat them one at a time. It takes me about 7 to 10 minutes to eat this. It is the most glorious, most divine embodiment of life that I've ever eaten in my life. I used to eat this as a child. I remember as a teenager, my stepfather had a friends on a kibbutz in the north, and they grew dates. And I remember going there and picking the dates straight from the tree and eating them, and wondering if there's anything more marvelous in the world. And how fortunate I was. I knew that for me was an extreme blessing and a great fortune if you ever have a chance. But don't throw them in your mouth. They don't deserve that. They deserve your full attention. So they deserve to be smelled, to be held, to be felt, to be listened to be heard when you put them in your mouth. They need all the five senses.
So true. 7 to 10 minutes for eating that small date.
One, this is the
Wow.
reason, because I'm not eating the date, I'm becoming the date. And the date is becoming me. That's the difference. I'm not eating it. That to me is what's important. So, I can with my clients, they will say, I cannot sleep at night. What should I do? And I will tell them, yes, you can take, eat kiwi in the night at night, and that will really help you a lot. You can eat bananas at night, and that will help you a lot. But that doesn't help them. That's why I take them further. And I said, let me teach you now how to eat the kiwi. So rather than having 8 to 10 kiwis, one will do it. But it depends on you. If you are open to the magic that's in kiwi, you first have to be open to the magic within yourself. So you've got to bring forth the magic within yourself to meet the higher vibrational magic of this kiwi. Only then, when you uplift your own energies to meet the energy of this kiwi, will it be able to do its magic. Otherwise, it cannot do it for us.
Yeah, you are a magician. Oh my God, Dorit. That's the apple mango from Mexico?
I wish it were the apple one. I wish, I wish, I wish. No, this is the one that's in season right now. And it's just called a red mango. I don't know why it's called that, but there's nothing red. The only thing that's red is here. You
Oh,
see
that's
that?
beautiful.
And I leave it around so I can smell it every day. So I have a relationship with it every day for a while. And I don't know why I'm suddenly in the dark here. Might need to put on light. But what I do with this mango is I leave them around the house, and they have their own bowls. I ask them which bowls they want to go in and where they want to be displayed first. And then I leave them there. And when they invite me to come and be part of them, and for them to be part of me, then I go. So I have a lot of choices always around me of fruits, but I don't just go and say, oh, I'm going to have this today. I ask them first, is it time to become part of me and for me to become part of you? And that's why I also eat seasonally, because a fruit in season is different from a fruit out of season. The vibrational energy is different. Not just that, but also the water in them is also going to be different. And that's very important. So when you eat this way and you drink this way, you'd never feel thirsty. So you never have to drink water.
Oh, so you do not drink any water, just
Most
coconut water.
not water that comes out of a tap, but I drink coconut water, I drink watermelons, I drink all the different melons, I cucumbers, all of the fruits. I get my water from this, which is structured water, which the cells know what to do with. And I welcome it. I welcome it. And I don't try to use to use their water to stop dehydration in me or to do things in me. I bring my own hydrated self to them, and I offer them to add to my hydration. But first I give praise to them and I ask their permission. It's very interesting because we've grown up in consumer societies where all we do is take, eat. What should I eat instead? What should I be eating? But we never ask ourselves, What should I bring to the food that I'm not doing so now? Why I'm not feeling well? What am I? How can I raise myself up to meet the actual frequency of this food in order for this to be a give and take and not just a take, take, grab, grab, take, eat, 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 eat.
This is so true in a relationship as well.
All relationships, and it begins with food.
It is so true. So you don't eat that much.
I eat a lot. I mean, I eat for a long time, but not very much in the end. But it doesn't feel that way to me because I'm used to it. Remember, I'm used to it. So people will say to me, but when people see me coming in with all the fruit, they say, for a little girl, you eat so much. Of course, most of it will probably end up being juice, but still. I mean, when I go in the winter, when I love persimmons in the winter and pomegranates. And when I go to the farmers and I come back home, it's a lot that I bring. It's
Ah,
a lot because I don't know what I'm going to eat because I've developed. I have to find out what my body says and what they and it's really it's magnetism. If the magnetism is there between this mango and myself, then I will gladly and very very kindly, gratefully partake of it. But I make sure that it also has a reason to come inside of me. So I have to open up to all of the blessings of all the farmers, all the energy of everybody and everything that has touched this is now in here. Their energy is now in here. If somebody went past the field and cursed, that's also in here. If somebody urinated on it, that's on the seeds in the ground. That's also on here. So I realize that I'm taking in the vibrational energy of men invisible entities of which I know nothing about. So I have to open up to their energies and I have to send them back thank you, gratitude for it. Otherwise, all I'm doing is consuming, consuming, consuming. And that's what causes illnesses and disconnections. We get disconnected from our food because we live in a consumer society where we're meant to just take, take, take all the time. You just said it, Kiko. It's a relationship like any other, and no different.
so you buy a lot of fruits, and if you don't have a right vibration match, do you just not eat it?
Not then, but I wait to see when I get called to it. And I talk to them every morning. They go over and I said, "Are you ready yet? Are we?" And I say, "Are we ready?" I'll say, "Are you ready? Am I ready?" Maybe, and I'll say, "You feel ready, but I'm not ready."
Oh my God. It sounds like I don't know if this is appropriate, but sounds like you have an orgasm with
Yes,
the fruit with respect.
but it's not the kind of orgasm that it comes and it goes and it's depending on something else. It's eternal. It's within me. It's not something that comes and goes. It stays, but it has to be played with, and on every day you've got to pay full attention to it. Here's the problem: we demand attention from others because we do not give ourselves enough attention. So I was very fortunate, Kiko, very, in that I was trained in mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh himself. I was trained in mindfulness, walking meditation with him. Um, when he came to open Deer Park in San Diego, I remember walking up the hill and being out of my body with him, and then realizing, no, I need to embody this. Being out of my body is not the best thing, which I used to happen a lot when I was in meditation. I would leave my body. The last time that it happened, I could not get back in, and I was terrified. And so I stopped doing that. I stopped meditating as long as I used to. I used to meditate for over an hour or 2 hours a day, and I wanted to run away to to Deer Park, to no, from not Deer Park to his place in France, and Deer Park Monastery in France, and be a monkette. But I knew that in doing that, I would not actually be the person I came here to be, and to find out that I needed to have challenges. It would be too easy for me being there, And I realized that I need to deal with all the things that I didn't like. So I'm now open. I'm fine with wars now. I am fine with many different things that I was not at all okay with before. So for me, it's only about acceptance. It's not being pro or against, it's accepting life as it is in all its perfection and accepting that I am not meant to be a perfect being here on earth. I'm simply meant to open up and accept myself as I am. And in doing so, accept life as it is. That's what I do every morning. That's what I do every evening. And when I work with people, they come to me to work with food and they realize we haven't even done anything with food yet. Because the first thing I do is I work with their bodies. I'm also a certified movement therapist and mobility trainer. I always work with their language first and with their movement, with their bodies. I get them to be in their bodies first before we even go into the food. It takes a long time before we get there.
That is so true. Their attitude, where they are, it's so important. That mindset is the most important.
If you do not revere your body, you won't revere this incredible date. And if you don't revere the date, your body will erupt and say, come back. And it does it in ways which we don't like, whether it's breaking out all over the place, losing our hair, uh, not being able to move because of our knees. Whatever it is, it's our body's always talking to us. The body does not lie. We lie to ourselves because we believe all the nonsense that we're fed and we're told. We are trained to go to school, sit down, which is the last thing we should be doing as children, is sitting down. It's the last thing any child should be doing. That's why I love the idea of the green school in Bali, in Indonesia, where they only have a roof, a thatch roof over. There's a stream beside them, and they're on the ground, and they're moving around constantly. I love the fact that in Finland, there's schools there where they just send people out, children out into the forest, children into the forest, and leave them there to be. Of course, they do have cameras to watch them, but they just leave them to be, and then they come back, and that was the school for the day. So some of them come back bruised, some of them fell from a tree, and it's perfectly fine, and nobody's crying. Love that. We've brought up children to think that nature is unkind and nature is frightening and nature is dangerous. There was a time when children would be let out in the morning and say, come back when it's getting dark. We cannot do that anymore because we have brought up a whole pile of people who are scary and who will hurt children. We did that ourselves. So we can no longer send children out like that anymore. So we need to take them out ourselves into the forest and instead of saying, no, don't climb that, you'll fall. Let them climb it and let them fall. Let them learn that their little bodies are the most magnificent works of art that will always heal. Don't disembody them. Don't take them out of their bodies and let them feel that their bodies are something to be afraid of and that movement is not something that they need to do. Let them fly if they want to. Don't say, oh no, you can't fly. Let them fly and find out for themselves what kind of flight they can partake in and which one they cannot in this lifetime. We put so many restrictions on ourselves.
So
We
true.
always think we're less than we are. We're not. We're magnificent beings, and this body is the most forgiving gift we've ever been given. We just don't know how to be in it.
Do you ever find it hard sometime to, uh, you know, how do, what's the key to be continuously be kind to yourself?
I don't believe in being, I think that's a great question. I don't believe in being kind to oneself. I think we need to look at all the ways in which we're not kind to ourselves. I think when we start looking at all the ways in which we're not kind to ourselves, we can address it. But if we look for ways to be kind, it becomes too much. It's something else to strive for. It's exhausting. It's tiring. Instead, just look at the ways in which we're not kind and say, oh, I just discovered I'm not kind to myself today. That's much more that's much more, it's an aha moment. It's moments like that. I call them moments of being with the jewel, which is the body, that the body's always talking to us, and we say, oh, I just realized, okay, I wasn't kind to myself now. Thank you for that. Until we do that, we cannot then. I don't think we have to look for the kindness. I think we need to look at ways we're not kind because it's intuitive to us as children to be kind.
So observing, first observing within you.
And I taught, I also was trained by and taught for Dr. Deepak Chopra. And one of the things we were trained was whirling, the whirling, the whirling dervishes.
No, I do not know. Can you explain?
Oh, it's incredible. It's part of Sufism. Sufism is like the mystical part of Islam. It's very different from regular Islam, very different. And it's and they whirl. That's how they communicate with the divine, is by whirling. I love to whirl. I used to be a dancer too, so and we would whirl there. I loved it so
Oh,
much. Oh my gosh.
Iranian, is that the Iranian dance or?
Yes, yes, yeah. You know Rumi, of course.
Ah, yes.
Yes, so yes, that's very, but it's done a lot now in Turkey. I don't think they do it in Afghanistan anymore, but because that's changed very much there. But this is something that was a very sacred, and it was really, really beautiful. And one of the things I loved studying at the Chopra Center was that I was exposed to Sufism and the beauty of Sufism and Kabbalah. Kabbalah is also,
Mm.
the mystical side of Judaism, and it's all these ancient traditions. Shintoism, I love Shintoism. There's so much to learn from Taoism, all this stuff. There's so much to learn from them. We need to go back and look at the traditions. Oh, this uh, 21st Century Homestead said, I'm homeschooling my children. Bravo. On farm in woods. And everyone says, yes, they're feral. Excellent. Do bring up wild children. Absolutely, yes. Otherwise, it gets suppressed and it comes out in so the ways we're seeing all the anger on the streets now and people hating on each other and killing each other. That's what ends up happening. This is exactly what is meant to be doing 21st Century Homestead. Exactly what we're
She's
meant to do.
amazing. 21st century homestead. It's yeah, that she's doing all the wonderful things, and I really, I'm so grateful that she's been sending messages and watching, and it has come to 1 hour already. During I lost my words, but I just what I did during this interview, which actually just turned out to be this, but listening and emerging, you just like you were saying, I was just mesmerized with what you were saying, and your story is amazing. You have done so much. You have lived in so many places. You were a dancer, editor, tour guide for UN, and work with Thich Nhat Hanh, with Deepak Chopra, and coaching Serena Williams for 2 years. Just yet you're so humble, you're so pleasant, and you're so graceful. And the words doesn't actually match when I say it. I know that you know words are so limited when it comes to person like you, but I just have to say, thank you so much for showing up your your love and light to the world. And you keep sharing and showering your love and light to the world, and I really so grateful for that.
And you would not recognize it if you were not that too. So thank you, Kiko. Thank you.
So beautiful. Oh my God. I just have to connect with you again. And I would have to, you're coming up with your book,
Mhm.
Being Healthy, because we want one Doreet at our home, but that's not possible. So we have to wait for that book to come out so we can have, this book to be with us when we need that help. So
From
thank
my heart to yours, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being available today. Again, out of all this busy, wonderful schedule that you have. And thank you, everyone, for staying in tune. And I'll see. Do you have any other last words that you would like to share to people?
Yeah, try not to be anything, just be yourself. And
So,
you only will know that when you practice silence, who you are. Practice more silence. Try not to speak so much.
hmm. Thank you so much. This I would love to listen to this video over and over and ingrain myself. Thank you so much again, Doreet. It was such a delight to connect with you. 21st century. Thank you so much for sharing the universal awesomeness. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for connecting. And again, I'll see you soon. Thank you.